And here we are. Hello.
Woo. Hello.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks, we're a little bit late. Sorry, apologies all round. We had some technical difficulties, funnily enough, with that lovely animated background that you've got there. But that's all good. It's what's meant to happen, isn't it? So as you can see, we have the blog post, but let's get rid of it. And instead, let's talk to my friends. Look at this beautiful bunch of people here. So how are you guys? Let's start, Aaron, on my my left. How have you been?
Doing good. Doing good. I had some stuff this morning, but I was able to make it in time for my show and for this. And I've got others. Was reading all the exciting Twitter world news with everything going on in the world of gaming and everything else that Twitter is full of. There's always such fun things when you wake up in the morning.
Yeah, I know.
Get caught up on
it's social media, isn't it? So it doesn't matter where you go, Twitter or Facebook or Reddit.
I miss the days of just MySpace, and that was it.
I miss the days of just having a newspaper, mate. That was
I know, those were so nice.
You didn't get that stuff then, I could tell you. And then over and below me, as always, every week, it's John. How are you, John?
Good. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. Now I'm not seeing you move, but don't get worried, because that's more likely to do with what I'm seeing than what the people at home are seeing. In fact, looking at YouTube, you are animated and dynamic exactly as you should be. So don't worry. But it doesn't matter what we see. It's what the rest of the world sees that matters. How's your week been, my friend?
Oh, fantastic. Really enjoyed the Resident Evil Village demo this past Saturday, and looking forward to the game releasing on Friday here.
Yes, Friday.
Yeah.
But we won't go there because that's in the blog post.
Oh, yeah.
Got to have something to talk about. And then our guest today, welcome return to Eli. How are you, my friend?
I'm good. Thank you very much for having me. I learned a new phrase today. May the 4th be with you.
Yeah, well, you are. That's because you're young, Eli. The rest of us have had to suffer it since the 1980s.
Yeah, us old cats know that phrase.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And in fact, as if to hammer it home, of course, it's this week on Stadia. May the 4th be with you. I had to sneak it in there, and I don't know if you guys saw I was very proud of a little joke that I made up and put up on Twitter earlier. I'm not going to put it on here, but it was so unique. I was very proud. Right, let's get it up as it's that time of the day. Here we go, and I'll just zoom back up to the top. So, of course, last Tuesday we were all. Let me get Eli back. Here we go. We were all excited. We had Pro Games announced, which was cool, and then they teased us by saying that they would also be dropping another game in the coming days. So little did I know that they drop it before they announced it for this week on Stadia. Oh no! Look, I'm covered in a logo. Oh, there I am. I'll sort that out. I'll sort it out in post, chaps. Don't worry. Pop us down there. So, indeed, they did. They dropped Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order today, which was amazing. It's a fantastic game. I don't know if you guys have ever played Jedi. I finished it on when it launched. What do you reckon?
I opened it up for a little bit. I think it was 15 minutes. It looks amazing in 4K. I don't know if I've played a game that looks so crisp on Stadia, but this, wow.
I'm not laughing at you, Eli. I'm laughing at the fact that somehow my wife just appeared in the guest list. And she has no idea, and I'm not going to embarrass her by bringing her on live. But she's quite clearly about to do the shopping online, and I've just suddenly saw this woman appear in the green room, and I thought, who's this? I haven't given anybody else, and it was the wife. She's probably watching this thinking, oh look, Adam's on, he's doing one of his shows again. Oh god, it never ends, does it? But let's
man, I hear that too a lot. My wife says the same thing.
Does she? Yeah.
Yeah.
Does your wife actually watch any of your stuff? Aaron?
No.
Mine
Well,
neither.
she gives me a thumb. She will go on, hit the thumbs up, and then leave. But I'm telling her, I'm like, I'm a celebrity. I'm on. She's like, you're on YouTube. I said, but if I watch myself on TV, then I'm a TV star, so it counts.
Yes,
And
exactly.
she just rolls her eyes and then walks away. And so it is.
Next,
Same
today
thing, like
YouTube, tomorrow Hollywood. Who the heck knows?
Yeah, I know, right? We're all celebrities.
Seb says Jedi's in 1080, but it looks really good. Thing is, you even in the jolly land of consoles, you only got 1080p 60 or 4K 30. And funny enough, I went back in and played it a little bit on console earlier to see how it compares, and even at 1080, it doesn't look as good. It does not look as good as on Stadia.
I don't know what they did when they brought it to Stadia, but that was when I first played it. And I haven't played it in a while, but I know I'm going to be playing it today. But I was just amazed with how, even on my, I tried it on the TV and on the Chromecast Ultra, but I also tried it on my computer, and it just looks, it's one of the nicest games that they brought over. Besides, like Red Dead and some of these, they did I give EA a lot of props on them because they did a really good job when they brought that game over.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. I tell you what we'll do. We'll pop, because we've not got a particularly massively lengthy this week on Stadia. We'll bring the chat over as well. We can interact with our friends in chat. I would bring the wife. Honestly, if I brought my wife onto this show, there would be divorce papers tomorrow, and I'd be living in the back of a shed.
I'm sure Lee would house you, or Dr. Spaceman would put you up for a bit.
I'm sure there's plenty of people out there that will help. Eli's
but we're not trying to do that.
Yep. Back again. So there we go. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, free, ready to play instantly. All, of course, no thought whatsoever went into the fact that today is, as you rightly said already, May the 4th. Brackets that was with you.
Yeah, it's perfect timing. Yeah. You couldn't get a better way to promote a game.
I totally agree. It was, and of course, it gave me an endless source of humorous quips and things to tweet out today as well. Like the fact that, of course, it's not May the 4th in America; it's 4th of May. So it's 4th of May be with you, which doesn't have any makes no sense at all. It's your own fault for being the only country in the world that puts your dates around that way. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, I don't know what to say about that. I'll leave that one alone.
As the token American, of course, we love you. We love you deeply. In Canada, John, do you do it the same way as the rest of the world, or do you do it the same as the States?
Well, it's a mix between. It depends on your age, really. So you've got like the old school who will do it similar to like the way the Americans do, and where the newer generation does it the way the rest of the world does.
Yeah. I know what you're saying. No, but I love the fact the Americans have, they're going their own way with so many different things with the language. It's so it should be. And it's a big old cosmopolitan mix. Even people like you, Eli, who you're in Denmark, aren't you, right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
You are, in fact, our token Great Dane, which is lovely. So, nothing wrong with a Great Dane, I always say. Because Scooby-Doo was a Great Dane, wasn't he? So anyway, there we go. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. As you rightly said, it's 1080 60, but it looks stunning, and it's HDR as well, which just looks amazing. And funny enough, on playing it on the console earlier, I found the controls on the console waved around quite a bit, but they're really nice and sharp and precise on Stadia. So there's nothing to complain about there. Carol Kestis.
One comment. Just in general, all of the EA titles that we have seen so far just look really crisp on Stadia. I haven't touched FIFA, but when I played Madden, when it was free, the free weekend, it looks so good. I don't know what EA is doing that the others aren't, but yeah, their games just look very good.
I just think, I mean, I think they've all got access to the same tool set, but I just think some studios take more time over presentation, whereas others just, it's a bit of a pain that we've got to do this port for Stadia, but it's another audience, and anyway, Google have paid us a chunk of money, so let's just do it. Whereas I think EA, Ubisoft, and others have gone, no, actually, we, and Bungie, we actually want it to look really good.
Well, and my thing was with EA. I mean, I love EA games, most of them. There are some that are a bit frustrating, and I just don't have the time for. But with EA, like I just imagine. They've got all this time now for like Madden looked spectacular, ran great on Stadia. Just think how well Madden 22 will run when that comes up, because now you've had this whole time and they know what they're doing to port it and get it running properly. Like that should just be the flagship game by the time that one drops.
Yeah, no, you're right. John,
Lord. Sorry, I just saw Lee. Good Lord. Oh, man.
Oh dear, yes. Don't worry. She's still there, by the way. She's still. Oh no, she's now put the lid down. She's done the shopping, and she's toddled off. Bless her. It'd be so funny when I mention.
Oh goodness.
Right. So, I agree. There's definitely seems to be a divide between studios that are really putting in the effort and studios that aren't, which is a shame, because as we know, when they do, games on Stadia are head and shoulders above any of the other cloud gaming platforms.
Indie games. Yeah, indie games. Some of those just blow me away with how the visual quality is, and some of those are sometimes are so much better than a big AAA game. And I have more fun sometimes with some of these indie games, and which always surprises me that I can have more fun with a big indie game than I could a big title AAA game.
Well, also look at Cyberpunk too. I mean, look how well that was done.
Yeah,
that was a big surprise.
Yeah, no, that's so true. And it's interesting. I don't know if you guys have been following the Epic versus Apple trial and some of the stuff that's dropped out of there. And there was a really interesting article, I think it's on The Verge today, about how Epic funded the games on their store to compete against Steam, which essentially is the model that we're now seeing with, say, Game Pass, for example, but also with Stadia. And some of the highlights, some of the takeaways from that were things like, I think a couple of games they paid ridiculous amounts of money for, 1.5, 2 million. But then games like Metro Exodus 2033 Redux, they paid $0 and 0 pence to give it away. But the indies, most of them were paid $50,000 to have their games given away. So when you then bring that back to Stadia's model, and a lot of people complain about the how many indie games there are, the key thing is that is how they're getting funded. So that you're talking $50,000 to get those games onto Stadia, which is actually, when you think about it, a much more cost-effective way to finance the growth of the platform than it is to spend hundreds of millions of dollars creating one or two exclusive games.
Yeah, and I think that, we saw over the weekend when Jack did his report too, that Stadia, people don't realize that Stadia already does have quite a few AAA games. I think it's over 50 AAA games now, and so people have that misnomer of there's only indie games. Well, sure, you can't have 100% AAA. You need those indie games and those non-AAA games to fill it out, to make it well-rounded.
Yeah, you got to have balance, and that's
right.
That's one thing. All of them have that. I mean, if you look at Game Pass, you look at maybe not so much PlayStation Now, but definitely like GeForce Now. All of the cloud gaming services, they all have that balance of indie stuff versus and the big stuff. And I think it's just that mentality, like it's not good enough if you don't have all of the AAA stuff. Yeah, and it's I like having a rounded out service. I mean, that's, to me, it's more about gaming. And sometimes, like I said, I have more fun playing indie games than I do regular games.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, those are, up and coming studios that, been surprised at some of the experience I've had. Like exactly like you said, I've enjoyed those more than I have, some of the big AAA games. So it's good to have just a wide selection and a variety of games on the system. And some people are just harp on that AAA stuff. Well, and in fact, it's good to have those, but it's also good to have everything else as well.
Yeah, and if you have a look at, hang on a second, let me just paste this in. Copy it first. If you have a look on stadiasource.com, they've got a great list actually of all the sort of variety of different games. But if you have a look at the list here of Stadia exclusives, people go, oh, I didn't realize they did exclusives. Yeah, look at them all. I mean, there's tons of them there.
And they're fun games. I mean, some like Pac-Man, fun. I have a lot of fun. Lee has done a couple of those, the Bomberman, and that is a freaking blast. Mm-hmm. And Submerged, I was really shocked with myself because how much I actually enjoyed that one.
Yeah.
There's just so many games that you just, because they're not a big developer, you don't realize that they're actually really good, and they run wonderfully on Stadia, which is one of the things that I've always loved.
Yep. And this doesn't even include Crater. I'm just having a look now. Right. So I don't even, there may even be more than that as well. Of course, Crater's now gone on to success on PC. So if you're a developer and you're kind of thinking, okay, it'd be great to test our game on a kind of maybe not particularly toxic platform. Not in the main it's not. Let's be honest, guys. So that we can actually get some feedback and hone it before we release it out to PC, for example. And Stadia is a great place to do that because they'll nurture you, they'll promote you, they'll give you the tools to help you develop and all of their experiences as well. So, Crater's done amazing stuff off the back of a year's worth of exclusivity with Stadia.
Yeah. And even like Guilt on there, that's still one of my favorite games. I love, that was the first game I played on Stadia, so maybe it's a little bit of sentiment with me, but it's still one of my favorite games. I love that game.
It is a shame, and I don't. I mean, look, guys, I'm not into pouring over negativity, but I did see a couple of tweets earlier that it's rare for me to actually get baited, but it was quite funny because one of them was saying, "Imagine if PlayStation had launched with no games. What would have happened?" I said, "Well, actually, PlayStation 1 launched with 17 games, so I can tell you what happened."
Well, and my whole thing with, and I was watching and reading all of the stuff that was going on over the last couple of days, and my whole thing with Stadia is they are in the same position that Microsoft was in when they entered the gaming world, because at the time that Microsoft said, "Hey, we're coming in with an Xbox," and everyone's like, "What is the big hunk of plastic you've got?" You only had Sony, Sega, and Nintendo. Well, look, when Google comes in, they're like, "What is this voodoo cloud magic you're talking about?" You had the exact same thing. The roles were reversed, but now instead of Sega, it's Nintendo, Microsoft, and Sony. So, and Microsoft it took Microsoft a while to get up there. So, I've always said this. I'm surprised that it took Google this long to get into the gaming industry, for knowing how much they could make off of this.
Well, and that's the same too. Like when PlayStation first came in, when they announced it, back then, that was, Genesis and Super Nintendo. Those were the dominant names in the industry. And Sony had Sony ImageSoft Studios, and they made games like Captain Hook and things like that. So they weren't really well known for any types of games. So there was a lot of pessimism towards it being like, oh, Sony's coming in. It was just absurd, which obviously, the internet wasn't as popular and prevalent then. So you didn't get all the trolling and things like that. But there was that same hesitation and questioning about it as well.
I think things can get blown up more now just because of the way social media plays a big role into everything. And I think that's the difference. To be honest, I think that can sometimes make or break a company, a game, getting a game to be made. social media has a big role in that nowadays, which sometimes it's unfortunate, sometimes it's nice when you can use your voice and say, hey, we want this game on this platform, and then it ends up there's so much people saying the exact same thing, the developer and the company that or the platform says, all right, let's do it, let's get it on there. We see we got enough people that are going to play this.
Yeah, and also, the other important thing is that just because you don't make your own games doesn't mean you can't buy exclusivity, as we've just spotted.
Right.
And there's no reason that Stadia haven't already got into bed with a studio over an amazing game that highlights all the features that Stadia has to offer, due to be released at some point in the future. We can't know whether that's the case or not the case, but I wouldn't be surprised. The other thing that, just quickly, the only other part of the this week on Stadia, other than Jedi, was, of course, that Resident Evil Village 8 launches this coming Friday.
I'm excited for that. I mean, I'll play the game, but I know that I won't. I'll be hard pressed. Someone's going to have to pay up some big super chats to get me to live stream it, because
I watched you yesterday. I'm already in with the money, my friend.
Yeah, but I will say that I'm excited for that, because this is a brand new game that will be on. So I'll be really interested to see how does it take advantage of all of what Stadia has to offer, because that's what I'm excited to see. It's how well is it going to run just as well, or is it going to run better than a lot of the other games? Because I mean, there's when you're making a brand new game that's going to be coming out for everybody at the same time, this will be what interests me the most.
Well, it won't, as far as we're aware, have ray tracing, which we know is the case for Xbox and PS5. But in fairness, again, I played on those three, and with or without ray tracing, it still looks amazing on all three. You don't really notice. It's not like it's drastically different.
Ray tracing for me and see, that's not a make or break for me, because to me, like, someone's like, do you have ray tracing on? I'm like, I'll go to the settings and say, yeah, it's on. Can you show me where? I was like, if you can tell me where, because me looking, I don't see the difference. As long as the game runs and it looks awesome, I don't look for the technical things like that. And I know there are people that do.
Yeah, it's a lot of the time too.
We don't have it.
You only get it if you're specifically looking for it. Like, you're doing a freeze frame and you're saying, oh, well, look at this. This is a little, more reflective than the other. Well, and then at other times it could be more prevalent. But, I think just like you were saying there, it's nice to have, but it's not always needed.
No. Eli, did you partake in the demo?
Yeah, unfortunately. I had a horrible experience with Resident Evil 7, but luckily, when I played Resident Evil 8, it wasn't as scary. Maybe it's just because it's the demo, but in general, the atmosphere looks much more lighter and clearer, so you wouldn't get as many jump scares at every turn. So I like that very much. But now
they use the megapixel service, so essentially it's very, very high resolution textures, photographic textures that are basically wrapped around all the objects, so it looks very photographic. I think, to be honest with you, Resident Evil 7 was made very much with VR in mind. So there are lots of sticks in your face and flies all over and stuff. That so everything's coming at you to give you. All those faces are right there. Whereas Resident Evil 8, I think they've taken a different tack. So it may or may not make you jump. Personally, nothing makes me jump. I can't desperately want what you guys are having. FOMO of being scared. But that's coming out on Friday. Now, the other thing that I just wanted to touch with you guys, which I found quite interesting, this again was a piece of fallout from the Apple versus Epic case earlier. It turns out that Walmart were working on a cloud gaming platform. Seriously, this all came to light. So they were pitching it in 2019 to Epic and a whole bunch of different people.
Oh, I see you play on there.
Exactly.
And
Yep.
Steam.
That, yeah.
Origin. Wow.
Because what this does, and I think this is a key thing. Let me just blow this up a bit, because I'm appreciating that on the screen here, guys. You're probably not seeing it so well. So so what this, again, the thing about the Apple versus Epic case for me isn't so much whether I'm that interested in either of those two. It's the cloud gaming aspect. There's so much of that information you can extrapolate and apply to Stadia, like we just did with how much is Epic have paid for the different games to be on their platform for free, i.e. Stadia Pro. So equally, we can look at what Walmart were pitching. This is fascinating. So like you've just spotted there, and you play Origin, these guys are all in there. Bethesda, we know about Bethesda anyway. And obviously they were hoping to get Epic on board, which is why they were pitching to them. I've said for some time that I felt Uplay's model was to be on everybody's platform. So they started, they got out of the gate on Luna and then Stadia. I think they're working very, very hard to get it onto the consoles as well. I think that's a definite.
It kind of seems the way that Uplay is wanting to be everywhere is almost like it's like a Microsoft thing. I mean, because we all know Microsoft wants to be everywhere on everything. Yeah. Whether it's, and not just, I'm not talking just gaming, I'm talking just like Office and all of these things. They play nice with Edge. You can run Edge on Linux. And I don't think I've ever would have believed that. And somebody told me that a year or two ago, that I would have ever seen that happen. And all of these different things. And it's fun to watch even the game. It's that ripple effect that it starts with PC and software and it ripples over to the gaming side of things.
Mm-hmm. So the other thing that I wanted just to quickly highlight in this, and then I'm interested in your take on this, John. So the technology is based on Walmart's cloud gaming service Liquid Sky, which they purchased. And it says Liquid Sky was previously powered by IBM Cloud's bare metal servers and NVIDIA GPUs, ray tracing. And it appears to offer a powerful Windows PC for cloud gaming. So this is almost like a symbiosis of GeForce Now and Amazon Luna.
Yep.
It's the question is, where did it go? Because nobody knows. It just went off the radar. They approached a load of people. They had all the big studios were approached. According to this, quite a few had already signed up. They were even in the process of porting games to it. Somebody earlier in the article said in 2019, so bear in mind, this is pre-Stadia launch. And they said, I played Walmart's demo on an Android phone with an Xbox controller, and the experience felt like playing on PS4 and superior to playing on Android and iOS, said Epic Games co-founder Mark Rain in an email from April 2019. Rain also excitedly shared a photo of a game clip with the rest of the Epic Games executive team showing how Walmart was planning to sell this in stores to let a phone attached to a controller, of course, again, before we saw the clips that we're familiar with. And he said they're going to sell this for a crazy low amount. They were saying something like $2 because, they're Walmart, aren't they? John, I know obviously you have your connections in the retail sector, being editor for Best Buy. Had this ever cropped up in your yeah, that's a big nod. So you kind of heard this.
And they actually did have meetings at E3 in 2019 about it.
Right.
So yeah, this was, now I don't know whatever happened, why things haven't materialized, but yeah, I was aware of this, and they did have meetings at E3 talking about it, trying to get people on board.
That is fascinating.
It's interesting because I can see the buy. So it lets you buy games.
Yes.
But the night, and then it's bring your own game, the BYOG.
Yep. So which is Steam, same as GeForce Now.
Yep. But I like that it gives you the option to buy. That's what, if you think about where we are now with cloud gaming, that's the big thing that everybody wants to see, whether it's Stadia. And Stadia already gives you the option to buy games, but everybody else is like, that doesn't offer that. they're like, oh, well, PlayStation Now needs to be able to buy games. It would be a game break changer. And the same goes with xCloud,
Yep.
Xbox Cloud Gaming. People say the same thing with that. If you could just buy the games, that would be it'd be a straight up game changer. Well, Stadia does that, but and then it comes full circle with the whole issue with Stadia that most people think is, well, they just don't have all these games that I want. I would use it if it had, Call of Duty or Fortnite or Minecraft. Well, I wouldn't. I would still use it just because of what it's got on it. I don't like those 3 games don't appeal to me, but I get that they appeal to other people. So,
Right.
So they talk in the article about having the option to download the game. They called it multiplay. So you can download the game or you can stream it. And this is exactly what I've been saying that I expect Sony to do with PS Now. So you will get the option to purchase Returnal, and as you've downloaded it from their library, from the digital store, they will also give you the option to play it via PS Now as well. No announcements, by the way, it's purely speculation, but that's what I've been expecting to come. And again, Walmart were on the money here. They're kind of, now whether or not because it does say in the article that they felt that pandemic killed it off. I don't think that's the case.
Yeah, and where the way it says that offers a powerful Windows PC, to me that sounds strangely familiar from another service that did the same thing. What was it? Oh, Shadow PC was very similar by giving you a Windows PC in the cloud that you can use for gaming. Man, it's uncanny. I remember Liquid Sky. I remember that service at the time. At the time. But I was just reading, just that offer a powerful Windows PC for cloud gaming. That's like the epitome of what Shadow was promoted as, was a Windows PC for cloud gaming. Although you could use it for other stuff, but the majority of people that utilized Shadow was for gaming purposes.
Yep.
And I think that was the same for Liquid Sky, if I remember correctly. It was a lot of people utilized that for the same thing.
Eli, you want to say something?
Yeah, I'm not sure if I follow correctly. Walmart, it's this big, huge American supermarket, right?
Yes.
So what do they have with technology? I don't understand how they want to get into gaming.
Because they want to control. They're looking at as a business. They are looking at the gaming industry as a moneymaker.
Yeah, because they make billions and billions of dollars. Like Walmart, you can go and buy. You can do grocery shopping. You can get your oil changed. You can buy clothes. You can buy TVs. So it's like a one-stop shop. They have Walmart super centers, and they're huge and they're very popular, and they make a lot of money. So to me, they're looking to get their feet into this piece of the pie in the gaming market, as the market slowly transitions more to digital and cloud gaming, why not get in on the forefront of it?
Yeah, so, it makes sense. If you look at it from a business perspective, it makes perfect sense that they would do something like that.
Yeah, because remember. No, go ahead. I was going to say now PlayStation doesn't sell digital codes in retail anymore, right? You can only get those digital from PlayStation. So so they're taking back. So this would be another way for retail to help make up those differences. And especially now with the pandemic, with a lot of people, that interest, that rise in digital gaming, the rise in cloud gaming, this is, again, just another way to get their foot into it. So
Brian, Notable, good to see you, my friend. He makes an interesting point. He's saying, so do we assume that Walmart cloud gaming, or whatever it would be called, would be strictly North America? Now, Walmart actually do have operations overseas. They own one of the big supermarket chains in the UK, for example. So they are very much an international outfit, although the brand Walmart is virtually unknown as Eli just mentioned, unless you happen to know about America outside of the North American continent. But it's certainly, what's fascinating for me is they seem to have, this is 2019, bearing in mind, there's no documentation exists after that period, at least as far as the Epic versus Apple case goes. So pre-Stadia. Now, since then, it's exploded, and I think it's safe to say, therefore, that at least leading up to 2019, most of the gaming industry were certainly on board as far as cloud is concerned, and they were just waiting to see who the players would be. Who's going to put the money where the mouth is, who's going to have the easiest platforms to port to, where's the audience going to go, which is almost certainly still the case, by the way, today.
Yeah.
We've not pinned ourselves, but we've put our flag behind Stadia because we recognize the quality of the tech more than anything. But there are several others as well, as we all know. So do you guys think Walmart are just keeping their powder dry? They're doing a sort of an Amazon Luna when they were watching Stadia evolve in the first year?
I could see it. It's interesting to see what happens, but I think if they are going to, and they made an announcement a while back that they were going to do their own Android tablets, and they did. They just kind of wait. I think they sit back and they wait and they watch, and then they just like, all right, let's do it, and then they just hit the button and go for it. But I still will say I look at this as a business thing, and it would not surprise me that they're waiting for the right time.
Yeah.
I think they're waiting, maybe quite possibly waiting for the market to mature, so that way it's a little bit less risky of an investment for them. So, but who knows? We'll see. We could see something this year. We may not see anything ever at all.
Yeah, I mean, look at video streaming services. That no one couple of years, before that really bloomed, and now look, everybody's got a streaming service. So. Would it surprise me if Walmart got into this? No, it wouldn't. I would be shocked if they ignored it. That would be what I would be more surprised about.
Well, it's like Clive mentioned earlier, and it's a massive point. A lot of their revenue, they make a decent margin, always have made decent margin on software, on games, as a retailer. But that's dwindling fast, just in the same way that DVD sales have gone out the window for them. Yep. And DVD players and so on. So, I guess you would be silly if you weren't a large seller of technology, whether that's a big supermarket chain or whether you're game or one of the big sort of tech retailers, to not be thinking, how do we break out of this, because we're heading to the cliff fast. And again, John, I'm deliberately kind of avoiding asking you obvious questions that are going to be, put you in a sort of a non-disclosure position. But I have to assume Best Buy are thinking the same thing. You obviously are spearheading. You're one of the communication tools for Best Buy with the work that you do on the blog. But equally, your investment in Stadia must send a message to your employer that cloud gaming is something that is coming over the hill.
Well, and if you look at it too, that Best Buy in the US does sell the Stadia Premier bundle, right? It just hasn't come to Canada yet. So there are, they do recognize that potential and where things are heading, and like I said earlier, I think you see that rise in the digital purchases over physical. You see all these reports where companies say 60% of their sales, 70% of their sales were digital. That's not saying that physical is going away anytime soon, but you have to recognize that things are starting to shift. Just like we go back into the PC realm when Steam first happened, and the PC market, if you look at it now, getting a physical copy of a PC game is like next to impossible. It's rare. Nobody even expects that anymore. That community, that market has made that full transition over to digital. So it's more of a, it's people willing to accept the change and things slowly moving over.
fair point. Now, Eli just sent me this link. This is interesting as well. So, Eli, talk us through this.
Yeah, I was roaming through Reddit earlier today, and then I saw a tweet about someone called Rebecca Valentine, where she said that Epic wanted to reconsider having Stadia on the platform. No, having Fortnite on Stadia, not Stadia on Fortnite. And that's interesting to hear, because as of right now, the only way to get Fortnite on Android is to download it through Galaxy Store or through the or through Epic's own website, and it's impossible to get it in a legal matter on iOS devices. So if this would happen, then it means that everybody on iOS would have access to Fortnite for free, because we all know that Stadia is completely free. You only need a Gmail account, and that might make iOS users flock to Stadia. I know Dr. Spaceman says that GFN has it, but the thing is, you need to pay. I think it's $7 each month to get priority access, and because Fortnite is such a popular game, you'll need to wait in queues if you want to play the free tier on GFN.
So the article says, I mean, it's kind of old news in a sense, because it's saying that Epic were quite happy to bring Fortnite to Stadia, and they obviously had those conversations, but they wanted to have Google's revenue split stripped away, which has been their argument with all the platforms, of course. And in a sense, I can kind of see their argument. They are such a big pull. It's a little bit like people give free clothes to stars, don't they? It's, those clothes cost them money, but they know that if David Beckham's wearing their suit, there's every chance that everyone else is going to start wearing David Beckham's suit as well. So if you've got Fortnite on your platform, it's it's a massive gorilla in the room, and you literally pay, they have to pay you not a penny for being there. It kind of makes sense, because it then brings all of the Fortnite type crew across, who can now play anywhere for free. And look, what's this that Fallen Order's just free on Pro, and might pay $8.99 and get that, because you can't get it for $8.99 anywhere else. That's the kind of mentality. I sort of see it working, but of course they didn't. And Fortnite was kind of the catalyst behind the whole Epic lawsuit. John, do you have any thoughts on this? It's interesting to see it.
I thought I remember reading somewhere that Google did offer Epic a reduced, a higher share, like lower their split from 30% and raise theirs, but it was only for Epic, and Epic said, no, we want it across the board for everybody.
Yeah.
So I think that all played into, they didn't want to be seen as showing favoritism on, in Android or the Play Store. So I think there's still a lot of things to work out between Epic, Google, and Apple and things like that. But I'd love to see Fortnite come to Stadia. I know my son's a big Fortnite player and fan, and I've got several friends too that play Fortnite. Every once in a while I'll play it, but like you said,
maybe once a fortnight.
Yeah. It's just that if people hear that that's on your platform, that just draws them to it. Whether some people like it, some people don't.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. The games, the most popular games are the ones that can really help promote a platform. And Fortnite just right now happens to be it. Same with Call of Duty, and for some reason the same still applies to Grand Theft Auto 5, even though it's an older game. It's still relevant, and it still amazes me that game is still highly sought after for other platforms, which just dumbfounds me. But and Call of Duty, to this day, I'm still amazed that it is not taken advantage of promoting it on Stadia for the simple fact that, hey, you don't have to download anything.
Right.
All those updates where you have to delete half your game library because you want to play this game? You don't have to do that anymore.
Yeah, you don't have to worry that it's 200 gigabytes to install or, things like that, which is just ridiculous.
Yeah, or you need like 500 gig to download it, and it really only takes up 250.
Yeah,
so you got to you got to get an external hard drive to download it. Then then it'll install on your regular hard drive. I'm just like, it baffles my mind that there aren't more companies out there that are taking advantage of having to do a little work to port a game over to a platform that can actually probably boost your sales big time. Because imagine if Call of Duty came over to the platform and it was still $60 or whatever. I bet you tons of people would be buying that just for the simple fact that they don't have to download updates after update that keeps taking up space.
Yeah.
You just mentioned two very popular titles, and the reason behind is that they are free-to-play titles. So what I really like to see is to see more free-to-play titles on Stadia, but just in general, because those are they are often filled with microtransactions and they make the platform money. But also, if something is free, you attract a higher audience. And the Call of Duty Warzone itself is free. It's only the story mode that is $60, I believe.
Yeah. Hey, free sells.
Yeah,
Free does sell.
Free.
John,
it might be free, but it still sells.
John, what do you think is going to be the outcome of the trial?
I don't know. I mean, to be honest with you here, it seems like everyone's at an impasse, but ultimately, I don't know. I mean, ultimately, I think that we will see probably reduced revenue, cuts of the sales from Apple and Google. I think that this will be something, because Fortnite is Epic. With Fortnite, they ushered through and they were a big champion for crossplay, and I really do believe because they achieved that crossplay. Sony was holding out on it, didn't want crossplay. They've got that across the system, so now we see that crossplay now is like a norm. It's something that you expect. So I think Epic, they're holding out. They've got leverage on this. I think something, really in the end, this could be a game changer, and it would be something that changes the industry wide, as far as like those revenue cuts in the shares.
What are your thoughts, Eli? Do you think it could be a game changer for the game industry?
I don't know. I haven't followed the lawsuit, if that's what we're still talking about. But Epic, Fortnite on Stadia, I would love to see that. But the lawsuit, I haven't actually followed. I can't comment on that.
I suppose in a way we've already seen a lot of the fallout. So we've seen Apple, sort of relaxing some of their ridiculously rigid rules about allowing cloud gaming on Apple devices. That's reduced. We've seen reductions in the obscene amount of money that everybody in the game industry takes from studios. Because let's face it, I know there's a cost. Of course, there's a cost. But 30%, a whole third. I mean, the only other people who take that much is the UK tax, and I have even less disdain for them.
Well, and to go along with all of that, with Apple loosening some restrictions, nobody brought up Microsoft dropped their developer fees 12%? Or what they take, their cut. Yeah, and not just. I don't know if it was across all of their boards. I know. I do remember reading that about the Microsoft Store. So I'm assuming that would also apply to like Xbox, but I don't know because I didn't really dive in to see if it does. Like I said, I know that it does take into effect with like the Microsoft Store. So there is they are well aware of what's going on, and maybe they're just like, let's jump the gun. We've already been to court enough times as it is, so we know we want to stay ahead of the game and not get sucked into this again.
I think Microsoft are playing by far the cleverest game in the industry right now. They are. I mean, it helps if you've got virtually bottomless pockets, of course, and if you also own, if you've got an investment in the infrastructure that is behind a lot of cloud gaming. You know, if it's not Microsoft Azure or IBM's platform or Google's, or Amazon's, then you're having to piggyback off of one of those services. That's going to have a cost implication on you rolling your service out. But what they're doing by essentially just buying everything, giving discounts to developers, trying to be the place that everybody just congregates to play games. I just wish, I mean, it's going to happen. I think they've had enough of playing second fiddle to Sony, but Sony equally don't sit on their haunches for long. And I'm sure they've got stuff brewing. But for me, it's all of this impacts and improves the lot across the board. So whatever's happening behind the scenes with cuts for studios, hopefully, you'd like to think, doesn't always manifest itself in cheaper games. Of course, it usually manifests itself in bigger dividends for shareholders, but it does mean that they at least can invest more in more amazing content, which ultimately is us as cuckoos are sat there with our beaks open saying more. That's got to help everybody, hasn't it?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So there was one other thing before we close up, because this is actually one from you, John. I'll just paste it in here. And I wish.
Oh no!
I understand and wish it's Amazon's. Tell us about this.
Okay, so this is Zombie Army 4. Mm-hmm. They just dropped today Season 3. And with this game, which I don't know if I believe it was a pro game before, but it's so much fun. It's very arcade-like. But with this Season 3, they've dropped the first of they're going to have 3 new missions that are going to be part of Season 3. And the first one, it's Terminal Error. And so I'm just reading it directly here from what it says on the email. It says Terminal Error is the first mission in Season 3's new 3-part campaign. Return to Hell. A horrifying transmission leads you to your fellow dead hunters to a mysterious dialect base on the Italian coast. Battle your way through a huge open-ended level and put a stop to the sinister machines lurking in the shadows. So it also has, as part of the Season 3 that they're including, there's 5 new character skin packs, 5 weapon bundles, 5 weapon skins, headgear, charm packs, horde mode, a new map for the horde mode as well. So it seems like, this game it's still living on it. It's going that route of the seasons like we see in Fortnite and other things like that. So I really recommend like Zombie Army 4. If you haven't tried it, it's really fun, especially with others online as well.
It's a great game, and the graphics look like they've beefed. Looks like they've beefed up the graphics as well. Looking at that, it may just be because it was on PC, but it is an awesome game and great fun.
Yeah,
and I know a lot of the streaming guys play either this or Sniper Elite, because they both have great multiplayer facets as well.
Yeah.
Eli, are you a Zombie Army man?
I actually tried it for 10 minutes back when it launched on Stadia, but then I streamed it and it was loads of fun. It reminded me of Sniper Elite, but then I figured somebody in the chat told me that it's the same developer, so it made sense. Yeah. But speaking of DLC, stay tuned tomorrow where there's going to be a reveal of Hitman 3's new DLC.
Ooh. Do you as the world, as we know, the world's fastest Hitman 3 player, have they given you any hints as to what's coming?
No, I mean, we got no. Not seriously. I mean,
You could have strung it out for another minute. What's wrong with you?
no. I mean, we know already it's going to be called season of enumeration or something like that, because there are 7 deadly sins. The first deadly sin was greed. I mean, we know the name of the deadly sin that we're going to
Greed.
get,
Check.
but many in the Hitman community are not happy with the DLC.
Oh, okay.
So I will say one, not with going along with these May 4th announcements. Watchdog Legions just dropped their new season pass update, along with some big updates to the online mode as well. They actually added a new character if you're a season pass holder, or if you have Ubisoft Plus or Connect or whatever it's called. It's a new girl character that has, I think it's mind powers or something like that. I watched the trailer, and they've got 3 or 4 new missions for the online mode. So I'm actually going to be playing that tonight because I want to see if I can try out the new character. But they added quite a bit of new features and 2 new downloadable players that you can choose from, which was a DJ and a first responder.
Oh, because that's obviously one of the great advantages of having Ubisoft Plus is you get all this stuff thrown in, don't you?
Yeah, I was actually excited for I was like, that's the firefighter one, or the first responder was really cool because it's a picture of a firefighter, but the new character, the girl with the season pass, is what I'm interested in wanting to see.
Awesome. Yeah. No, I love it at Watch Dogs. Have you completed the game, the main game?
Yes, I did. I completed. Yeah. This is the new girl. Yeah, I completed the main game, and I still have a lot. I have a.
Oh, it's Darcy. It's the one. Isn't she the one that is Assassin's Creed inspired?
Oh, I'm not.
Because there's supposed to come a girl named Darcy to Watch Dogs Legion.
They do tend to cross their universes, don't they? Which I actually think's really cool.
There are there are actual connections between Assassin's Creed Syndicate and Watch Dogs Legion. Nice. If you look at the on your phone, on your recruits, you can see what they have searched for. And there's an Easter egg where one of them has searched for Evie from Assassin's Creed Syndicate.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Oh, that's a
I was impressed with how much they added. Like I was just like, man, there's just a lot of news that popped out on May 4th. I was like, good grief.
I know. Why they've been storing it up for Star Wars Day? What's that all about? Get out of here.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, see, like this would be. There's Anthony right there.
The DJ. Yes, MC Cowboy. They got his character. Yeah, MC Cowboy. Come on down to the rodeo.
In there. It's just so cool how they added all these, and then the first responder. I was just like. And you get all these new stories, and I'm just like, the game, when I first tried the online, it needed some work, and I stopped playing it for a while, and I went back, and it's like night and day difference. It's nowhere near as buggy as it had been, and I'm just like, I have a blast playing that. I still drive on the wrong side of the road, but, that's the American
so do we. See, there's the one thing that you can claim authentic, because talk about the dates. We are one of only a small amount of countries that drive on the left. So I'm with you on that. I like driving on the right.
But the game is. I was impressed with it when I started picking it up, playing it again online. And I'm hoping that eventually they add more features to the Spider Bot Arena, because that one is another fun mode.
Yeah,
I'm not very good at it, but it is definitely enjoyable.
Yeah. Good. Well, thank you for that. Thank you for raising that. I think we've kind of come to a nice conclusion. So there wasn't, there were 2 things essentially in this week's on Stadia. One was the confirmation of Star Wars Fallen Jedi, which you can. What's it called? Jedi
Star
Fallen Order.
Wars Jedi Fallen Order, yeah.
Thank you. Which you can download right now. You can claim it right now. If you haven't got a pro sub, it's still $45. So that's quite a decent chunk of wedge to get there for free. And also the fact that this coming Friday, following the demo, is of course the Village, Resident Evil The Village. I'm still getting over the fact that I was doing that till 4 in the morning the other day. No. But I did a bit of a speed run on the first one though. That was good. And I've done it a couple of times since. I can do them in about 5.5 minutes now. Once you know where everything is, you go, so yeah, that's all good. But right, gentlemen, let's get rid of the screen and bring ourselves all back up into the middle here so that we can talk about
I want to say a huge shout out to John for convincing me to pre-order Resident Evil Village.
Yeah. He was watching my stream of the demo, and he was at the end. He was on the fence, didn't know whether or not he should order, and Eli finally decided he was going to take the plunge there. Right?
Yeah.
Can I just check, Eli? Did he give you the referral code that he gets 20% on?
No, 30%.
Oh, it's 30,
right?
Oh,
Right? Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you think he'd be going 12% off by now, wouldn't you? Following in the footsteps of everybody else. What's wrong with you, gentlemen? Sorry, Aaron.
No, go ahead.
As you have the floor, my friend, do you want to tell people what you'll be up to this week?
Today I'm going to be doing Star Wars in honor of May 4th, and then tonight I'll be doing Watchdog Legions to showcase all the new stuff, fancy stuff that dropped, and then I've got a bunch of other stuff on the docket for the rest of this week. I'll be on Cloud Station TV tomorrow at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time,
awesome.
And on the SBCN on Friday. Actually, I won't be at 7. I'm bumped up, so it'll be 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. I almost said 11, but yeah. So it'll be 10 a.m. Central, so it'll be bright and early in the morning. So should be afternoon, evening time for the everybody across the pond.
I think it's about 6 p.m., 7 p.m. for Eli.
So
and me.
you guys can eat your dinner and then jump on in and watch.
Absolutely. What are you playing?
I'm going back to the Old West to go kill some people in Red Dead.
I do, and why not?
I love that game. But yeah, otherwise it's just Stadia and everything else that I do. So just having fun as a gamer, that's what it's really all about for me.
You certainly bring the fun, my friend. And John, what are you up to this week? Giving more stuff away, I see.
Oh, of course, right?
Yeah.
No, so I'm going to be finishing up my review on Judgment. I just completed the game the other day, so I'm going to be writing up my review, posting it on Best Buy blog either later today or tomorrow. And then tomorrow, it's the return of my lunchtime stream. So 1 o'clock around this time Eastern, I'll be streaming that first new campaign mission off of Zombie Army 4. And then on Friday, I'm going to go crazy with 3 separate streams of Resident Evil Village.
Oh, yes, I've seen you scheduling them up.
Yeah. The demo completely sold me on it. Of course, I was already excited for it, but the demo is just, I love Resident Evil, and Village looks awesome. So
it's just such a shame. I said this the other day when I was up. It may have been while I was streaming The Village, but I was up anyway, and I was a bit buzzy. Or was it after I'd been on Rick Tone's show? Any road up. I had a look around at you guys because I'm always in bed. And it was just so entertaining. Now, I know the arguments go that, well, you can always watch it after, but nobody ever does, do they? Life gets in the way. You've got your own stuff.
Yeah. It's different to watch live stuff versus rewatching. It's just not the same sometimes.
And I was loving it. I was thinking, I might even change the way I might change my sleep patterns.
No. well, see, I think I'm going to
talk about Zombie Army.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to add a couple of my lunchtime streams back into the mix. So that way, it gives you guys a chance. Even if it's 1 o'clock my time, it's I think it's like what 6 or 7 your time there,
Yeah.
something like that. So that gives people, because I've had a lot of people say, hey, I would love, just like you said, I'd love to watch, but it's 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and you've got to get up in the morning, you've got to get to work, you got to go to school, you've got your everyday life. So I think I'm trying to fit these lunchtime streams back in so that even more people
bless
can
you for
share.
because you do a great job. All of you do. I love watching you all. Now, Eli, you started a new show, did you not, this week?
Yeah, this week is actually pretty busy. I'm going to do a show by the Young Guns, by me, EJ Mix, and the Legend 21, where we are putting our own flair on news and community praisings. That's on Mondays, 4 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. British summertime. And tomorrow I'm going to join Original Penguin, Adam, the Pixel Count guy, in a Human Fall Flat stream. And on Thursday I'm doing my weekly slot for the SPCN.
Who?
Yeah, I forgot.
You got too many shows going on there.
How quickly people forget that. How quickly they forget.
I know, right? Start adding all these shows and they forget what they're doing.
Oh, I know.
I forget what I'm doing half the time, but that's my age kicking in.
Another thing is I hit the 100 subscriber mark, so if people want to find me, they can type in youtube.com/Eli Levy. That's it.
So if they take your Twitter name that we've got there and knock the D off the end, and they'll find you on YouTube. Oh, that is awesome! Yeah. Awesome. I'm really looking forward. I thought Young Guns had already started.
Yeah, we started yesterday.
Yeah, because I've got it on my list of stuff that I want to watch. I'm really looking forward to it. So,
and you just said that nobody rewatches stuff.
Yeah, no, I don't mind the panels. No, panel shows I do. I watch the panel show. It's the game streams I don't.
Yeah.
What I love about the game streams is being in with the chat and all that kind of engagement, and then John will say, "Oh, hey, Rokk," and all that. But you can't get any of that when you watch it back. But the panel shows are different because it's all about your opinions and your views and bringing, dropping news like we have today, for example. So you can pick that up later. So, so I'll be watching, mate. Don't with that attitude, pal. I might not bother. I'll give you young flipping guns. Right then. I've been Rokk. I don't know that I've got anything else planned this week, actually. I'm still working on a revamp for Rokk and Ray, which we'll be bringing hopefully next week. I have been saying Cloudburst is due to come back this weekend, but it's actually not until later in the month. But we do now have our panel, which is awesome, and we've spiced up the format slightly, so that's going to be good fun as well.
As long as with Rokk and Ray, as long as it has Ray, where with that one scene where you just bring his face and it just does all that fun stuff. As long as I can see that, I'll be sold with it. That's the only thing I miss.
No.
With his
Ray's praise 100% stays, because that rhymes as well. There you go.
Yeah, I just have to see him with that big old smile.
No.
That's my favorite part of the show.
Did you mean this? You'll have to remind me, because I don't remember what you're talking about.
That was it. That was worth it. Worth every penny.
You just want to give him a big hug, don't you?
I do.
He's a lovely chap.
Ray, he can have a bad day, and you see that, and everything's all better then.
I know. Well, I can't wait. We'll be coming back soon.
Man.
Raise praise 100%. So thank you for that. Gentlemen, as always, a blast, a great show. Thank you. Thank you, Eli, as well, for guest appearing today.
Thank you for having me.
No, mon plaisir. I'm going to go and watch Young Guns. slightly more bitter now than I was earlier, but I'll still enjoy it, I'm sure. Say goodbye, everybody. Oh, by the way,
See you guys.
before I do let you guys go, I haven't been able to update the Rokk members list on the outro today. I was hoping to do today. There's been a couple of new members, so thank you so much for that. Really, really appreciate everything you guys do. So please don't take offense if you don't see your name on this coming list, but it will be there for next week's show. I absolutely promise you. We have been Rokk Review. This has been This Week on Stadia. That's about as professional as you're going to get today. So I will say goodbye. I will see you all again next Tuesday. Take care.
See you guys.